I work so hard at my job, and I think I'm doing everything right, but my boss is so angry in the office all the time. So obviously, my boss thinks that I'm doing something wrong and that I'm terrible at my job. And I guess I won't be surprised if I'm not fired by the end of the week.
Thank you for sharing. It sounds like you are working hard though, and everything that you're doing, it sounds like you're doing to the best of your ability. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, every time that you talk about your job, I think that you're doing everything that you're supposed to be doing and more.
I believe you're engaging in some of the catastrophic thinking that we've been talking about the previous sessions. There's an activity that I actually would like for all of us to try, and I think it really could help. One. Here I have a piece of paper for each one of you. At the top, it's divided into 3 sections. The first section being event, the second section being thought, and the third section being rational counterstatement. Under event, I would like for each one of you guys to think about a time in your recent memory where you guys engaged in some of this catastrophic thinking. Under thought, I would like for you guys to write down the thoughts that you were having while you were engaging in this catastrophic thinking. Like, for example, you mentioned that you thought you were going to be fired just because your boss is angry around the office. For rational counterstatement, I would like for you guys to write down something that's a little more constructive and beneficial to your well-being. Okay, now that you guys have had some time, would anyone like to share what they wrote?
I can go. So under the event section, there was a time that I thought about where I was in the grocery store and I ran into a good friend of mine and we started having a conversation and he really abruptly ended the conversation. And at the time I was like, wow, maybe he doesn't like me anymore and doesn't want to be my friend anymore. And that was my thought at the time. And what I wrote down here in the rational counterstatements side was, it's probably more likely that he was in a rush and he had family things to do and he just needed to get going and get his grocery shopping done so that he could get home. So that's probably more likely what was going on.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that with the group. I appreciate the way that you were able to recognize that thought that you were having that he hated you was probably not rational or constructive. I also appreciate that you were able to identify a more rational counterstatement to oppose that. Would anyone else like to share?